Welcome to Story-Driven English, where we turn real-life tales into unforgettable English lessons. Today, we're diving into a story so wild, so dazzling, and so downright Trump-tastic that you won't believe it's not a Hollywood blockbuster. Meet the Trump kids Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, and Barron 5. Siblings raised in the shadow of a real estate titan, reality TV star, and two-time U.S. President Donald Trump. From skyscrapers to stilettos, golf greens to campaign stages, this family's journey is a roller coaster of ambition, drama, and a whole lot of laughs. Want to boost your English while unraveling a saga packed with power, personality, and a sprinkle of chaos? Hit that play button, grab your popcorn, and let's roll because this is the Trump Kids. A wild, wacky ride through the family empire. Oh, and stick around, there's vocab, phrases, and storytelling tips coming your way. The Trump Kids. A wild, wacky ride through the family imperial. Right, buckle up. Because I'm about to spin you a tale about Donald Trump and his 5 kids, a story so packed with glitz, grit, and a little bit of goofiness that it could be a blockbuster movie. Picture Donald Trump, the golden-haired tycoon who's worn more hats than a costume shop real estate mogul, reality TV king, and oh yeah, the 45th and 47th President of the United States. His life's like a circus where the ringmaster keeps adding more lions to the act just when you think it's time for the clowns. But this isn't just about him, it's about his offspring. A ragtag crew of 5 from 3 marriages, each one stumbling, strutting, or sprinting through life under the towering shadow of their larger-than-life dad. Think of it as a family. Sitcom with skyscrapers instead of picket fences, golf courses instead of backyards, and a dash of political mayhem for spice. Ready? Let's dive into the first act with Donald Trump Jr., the eldest of the clan. Meet Donald Trump Jr. Don Jr. to his friends, family, and probably the barista who's tired of writing out his full name on coffee cups. Born in 1977 to Donald's first wife, Ivanka, he's the trailblazer of the Trump brood. The guy who looked at his dad's sprawling empire and thought, well, I guess it's time to roll up my sleeves and jump into the deep end. And jump heated right into the Trump Organization as executive vice president, a title that sounds fancy enough to come with its own theme music. Stationed in Jupiter, Florida, because who wouldn't want to run a business empire from a place? That sounds like a vacation ad. Don Jr. spends his days juggling more balls than a circus performer. Real estate deals, hotel branding, golf course expansions, retail ventures, you name it, he's got his fingerprints on it. It's like he's playing a high-stakes game of Monopoly, except the properties are real. The money's in the millions, and the go-to jail card is suspiciously missing. Don Jr.'s saga starts back in 2001. Business, probably after a hearty handshake from Dad and a gruff "don't screw this up." Junior Ive got a reputation to uphold. His first gig was at Trump Place, a colossal redevelopment project on Manhattan's West Side yards. Imagine taking a gritty old rail yard and turning it into a gleaming oasis of luxury condos and chic storefronts. Don Jr. was there, probably wearing a hard hat and a grin, making sure every brick screamed Trump. From there, he leveled up to Trump Park Avenue, where he took an aging hotel, the Delmonico if you're curious, and flipped it into a tower of ultra-posh condos. We're talking the kind of place where the elevators play. Classical music and the lobby plants cost more than your car. But Don Jr. wasn't about to stop at a few city blocks. Oh no, he went big Chicago. Bink enter Trump International Hotel and Tower Chicago, a 92-story behemoth hugging the river like it owns the place. Don Jr. was the puppet master here, pulling strings on financing, construction, and branding until it became a glittering mashup of condos, hotel rooms, and retail space. Picture him strutting through the site, clipboard in hand, barking orders. Like, more gold trim? Dad loves gold. Then there's the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, a 64-story tower that's part hotel, part condo, and all Trump. You can almost see Donald Sr. nodding approvingly from afar, muttering, "That's my boy building tall and talking louder." Not content to keep his empire stateside, Don Jr. took the Trump name on a world tour. He sprinkled luxury towers across India, Pune, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, NCR like some kind of real estate fairy godmother waving a golden wand. Just buildings, their experiences, setting new standards for swanky living with designs so sleek You'd think they were sculpted by a fashion designer. Then there's the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Vancouver, a gleaming monument to the family's knack for making everything bigger, bolder, and a little bit flashier. It's hard not to imagine Donald Sr. egging him on, maybe over a steak dinner, saying, "Go global. Junior, let's put our name on every skyline worth a damn." But here's where the plot thickens and gets a whole lot juicier. Don Jr. isn't just a suit with a skyline obsession. He's a political tornado in a tailored jacket. When Dad ran for president in 2016, Don Jr. was right there, front and center. Earning a rep as a close political advisor, shout out to the New York Times for that one. He stormed the stage at the Republican National Convention like a rock star, microphone in hand, rallying the crowd with a kind of energy that suggests he's been rehearsing stump speeches since grade school. After Trump's win, Don Jr. didn't just sit back and sip champagne. He morphed into a full-on right-wing provocateur, defending Trumpism like it's a sacred family recipe. During the 2018 midterms, he hit the campaign trail like a caffeinated road warrior, raising millions, charming voters, and helping Republican candidates snag victories, all while casually tossing out a conspiracy theory or two. Because why not keep things interesting? The 2020 election, that's when Don Jr. turned the volume to 11. He was everywhere, Allie's TV screens, Twitter, making wild claims with the confidence of a guy who's never met a mic he didn't like. As votes were tallied, he called for total war, which sounds dramatic until you realize it's just Don Jr. being Don Jr. after Dad's loss. He didn't exactly retreat to a quiet life of golf and reflection. No, P jumped into the fray, amplifying election fraud chatter and delivering a fiery speech before the January 6th Capitol riot, where he warned Trump's rivals, "We're coming for you." It's the kind of line that belongs in an action movie, not a political rally. But that's the Trump family magic. Everything's a blockbuster. And because he's a Trump, Don Jr. couldn't stop at skyscrapers and stump speeches. He's moved as a judge on The Apprentice and Celebrity Apprentice, sitting beside Dad with a smirk that says, "I was born for this." He's penned to best-selling books triggered, How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence. U.S. 2019 and Liberal Privilege, Joe Biden and the Democrats. Defense of the Indefensible 2020. Both dripping with the kind of fiery takes that make you wonder if he wrote them in all caps. Then, in 2023, he launched Triggered with Don Jr., a podcast that's basically him riffing on politics and culture like a stand-up comic with a real estate degree. You can picture Donald Sr. beaming from the sidelines, maybe even guest starring, saying, "Keep talking, son, volumes are brand." So that's Don Jr., the eldest, the heir apparent, the guy who grabbed Dad's playbook and ran with it. Adding his own wild flair, he's a whirlwind of boardrooms, ballots, and bombast, all wrapped up in a Trump-sized bow. But this is just the opening chapter of our epic family saga. There's 4 more kids waiting in the wings: Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, and Barron. And trust me, this story's about to get even weirder, funnier, and more fabulous. What's the next paragraph you've got for me? Let's keep this crazy train chugging along. The Trump Kids. A wild, wacky ride through the family empire, Part 2. Ivanka's glitzy adventure. Welcome back to our Trump family saga tale. Dazzling and delightfully chaotic, it's like a reality show scripted by a stand-up comedian. If you've been following along, you've already met Don Jr., the eldest Trump kid who's been building skyscrapers and stirring up political storms. Like it's his personal mission to keep the family name in neon lights. But now, it's time to turn the spotlight on his little sister, Ivanka Trump, the golden girl of the clan, who's danced her way through real estate, runway fashion, and White House corridors with the grace of a ballerina and the hustle of, well, a Trump. So, grab a snack and settle in. Things are about to get glamorous, gutsy, and just a tad bit messy. Ivanka Trump burst onto the scene in 1981, the second kid of Donald and his first wife, Ivana. Like her big brother, she snagged a prime spot in the Trump Organization as Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions, a title so long it probably needed its own business card. Picture her strutting into boardrooms, heels clicking, ready to seal deals. On sprawling properties and luxurious hotels, she wasn't just riding Dad's coattails, she was steering the ship alongside Don Jr., proving that Donald Sr. didn't just trust his kids with the family name. He handed them the keys to the kingdom and said, Make it bigger, shinier, and don't forget the gold plating. But Ivanka wasn't content to stay in the shadow of towering condos and golf courses. Oh no, she had bigger dreams that sparkled like a diamond necklace. Enter the Ivanka Trump brand, her very own fashion empire, launched with all the flair of a runway show finale. We're talking jewelry that dazzled, shoes that clicked with confidence, clothes that screamed sophistication, and accessories that whispered, "Yes, I'm fabulous." The fashion world took notice. Footwear News crowned her launch of the year in 2010. And the awards kept rolling in like applause at a sold-out show. For a while, it seemed like Ivanka was twirling her way to the top, a Trump princess with a knack for turning heads and turning profits. You can almost hear Donald Sr. bragging at the dinner table. "That's my girl selling stilettos, like I sell penthouses." Of course, every fairy tale has its dragon, and Ivanka's came in the form of controversy. When Dad took over the White House in 2016, her fashion line started raising eyebrows faster than a tabloid headline. Critics cried ethics violation and conflict of interest. Apparently, it's tricky to sell handbags when your father's running the country. Big retailers like Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom dropped her line in 2017 like it was last season's clearance rack, and the headlines weren't kind. By July 2018, Ivanka threw in the towel, shutting down her fashion company with a sigh and a press release saying she was ready to trade sequins for policy papers. It was a bold pivot, proof she had her own ambitions, even if they were built on the Trump name's glittering foundation. Somewhere, Donald probably gave her a thumbs up and a good hustle. "Kid, now, let's talk politics." And talk politics they did. When Donald stormed into the presidency, Ivanka didn't just cheer from the sidelines, she grabbed a front-row seat as a White House advisor. Her focus? Empowering women economically, pushing for paid family leave, and boosting the workforce, basically, making the world a better place. One elegant speech at a time. She even scored a fancy title, Director of the Office of Economic Initiatives. An entrepreneurship, it's the kind of gig that comes with a corner office and a lot of responsibility. And it's clear Dad saw her as more than just a pretty face. He trusted her loyalty and smarts to help steer his administration. Picture her gliding through the West Wing, notepad in hand, ready to tackle big ideas while dodging the inevitable whispers of nepotism from the peanut gallery. Ivanka wasn't just a behind-the-scenes player either. She hit the campaign, Trail Hard for Dad's 2016 and 2020 runs, dazzling crowds at the Republican national conventions with speeches that blended polish and passion. She was his fiercest defender, a stylish shield against the political slings and arrows. And when she wasn't rallying voters, she was writing books the Trump card, Playing to Win in Work and Life 2009, and Women Who Work, Rewriting the Rules. For Success 2017, both oozing with advice on winning at life, Trump style. These weren't just books, they were her megaphone, cementing her image as a savvy businesswoman with a knack for inspiring others. Add in a slew of awards like the Joseph Wharton Award for Young Leadership and a nod for Outstanding Accessory. Dizanon, you've got a resume that sparkles brighter than her old jewelry line. Let's be real. Donald Sr. paved the way for Ivanka's rise. He plugged her into the Trump Organization, gave her the green light to build her fashion brand, and then plopped her into the White House like it was the ultimate family internship. Her early career was a skyscraper built on the Trump Foundation. Resources, the works. But that White House gig, it stirred up a hornet's nest of debate. Critics howled about ethics and qualifications, calling it a classic Trump move, bold, brash, and a little bit blurry on the rules. Still, it catapulted Ivanka into the spotlight, turning her into a media darling and occasional punching bag. She crafted an image of elegance and social goodthink, poised philanthropist meets power suit, though some rolled their eyes, muttering, "Sure, but what's the catch?" Through it all, Ivanka stayed glued to Dad's side, echoing his views and amplifying his legacy. She was his political partner in crime, a glamorous hype woman who could charm a crowd and weather a storm. After 2020, she claimed she was done with politics, stepping back to breathe and maybe sip a latte in peace. But lately, she's been spotted at Dad's events, flashing that megawatt smile, hinting that the political bug might not be out of her system just yet. You can almost hear Donald whispering, "Come back, kid, the stage is too quiet without you." So that's Ivanka, the poised princess who who turned real estate into runways, then swapped stilettos for policy, all while juggling the Trump name like a pro. She's Don Jr.'s calmer counterpart, a whirlwind of grace and grit in a family that thrives on chaos. But we're not done yet. Tiffany and Barron are still waiting in the wings, ready to add their own wild chapters to this epic tale. What's your next paragraph? Let's keep this Trump train rolling, full steam ahead. The Trump Kids. A wild, wacky ride through the family empire, Part 3. Eric's golfing glory. Welcome back to our Trump family extravaganza, tale so full of twists, towers, and tee-offs that it's starting to feel like a soap opera scripted by a comedian with a real estate license. So far, we've met Don Jr., the skyscraper-slinging political firebrand, and Ivanka, the poised princess who swapped stilettos for policy papers. Now, it's time to tee up the third Trump kid, Eric Trump. Born in 1984 to Donald and Ivana, he's the middle child who traded boardroom battles for fairway dreams, turning the family empire into a golfing paradise while still keeping one foot in the wild world of Trump chaos. Grab your clubs, and a sense of humor. Eric's story is about to take us on a hilarious, high-stakes ride. Eric Trump rolled into the family biz as executive vice president of the Trump Organization, a title that sounds like it comes with a corner office and a secret handshake. While Don Jr. was busy stacking skyscrapers and Ivanka was dazzling the fashion world, Eric found his groove in the green litter. He's the guy who took the Trump golf portfolio from a measly 3 courses in 2006 to a whopping 19, transforming the family name into a synonym for luxury links. Picture him strolling across pristine fairways, clipboard in hand, barking orders like, "More sand traps." Dad loves a challenge. It's no coincidence that golf became Eric's kingdom. Donald Sr.'s a notorious golf nut, and you can bet he nudged his son toward the sport with a wink and a "make it the best." Eric Conley the best. The result? A global empire of award-winning courses that scream Trump quality. From the U.S. to Scotland to Ireland, Eric's not just a figurehead, he's elbow-deep in every divot. He oversees the acquisition, development, and management of these golfing gems, ensuring every blade of grass meets the Trump standard of perfection. Take Trump National Doral, Miami, a $250 million redevelopment project that turned a tired resort into a golfer's paradise. Think palm trees, plush greens, and a vibe so looks you'd expect the caddies to wear tuxedos. Then there's Trump International Ireland, a windswept beauty he scooped up and polished into a Celtic treasure. And Trump Turnberry in Scotland, a historic course he revamped until it sparkled like a crown jewel. Eric's got a knack for big projects, and you can almost hear Donald Sr. chuckling from the clubhouse. That's my boy swinging for the fences, one putt at a time. But Eric's not all fairways and favirons. Like his siblings, he's dipped his toes into the family's entertainment pool, popping up as a judge on The Apprentice. Picture him sitting beside Dad, squinting at contestants with a look that says, "You call that a pitch? I've seen better swings from a novice on the 9th hole." It's classic Trump keeping the brand alive on TV, while raking in the laughs and the ratings. Then, in 2007, Eric decided to flex his softer side by founding the Eric Trump Foundation, a charity aimed at raising cash for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's the kind of move that makes you go, "Ow, he's got a heart." And, for a while, it looked like he was carving out a legacy beyond bunkers and birdies. Donald Sr. clearly saw something in Eric, handing him the golfing reins with the kind of trust that says, "You've got this, kid, just don't slice it into the rough." When Dad took over the White House in 2016, Eric teamed up with Don Jr. to steer the Trump Organization, a duo of brothers keeping the empire humming. While their father played commander-in-chief, Eric wasn't just minding the store. Jumped into Dad's 2016 and 2020 campaigns with both feet, serving as a trusted advisor and a tireless cheerleader. Picture him at rallies, pumping up the crowd with the enthusiasm of a guy who's just nailed a hole-in-one, shouting, "Let's make America great and the Greens greater." It's clear he's all in on the Trump political train, chugging along with the same gusto he brings to the fairway. But here's where the fairy tale gets a little funky, and not in a groovy golf cart kind of way. That shiny Eric Trump Foundation. It hit some serious rough patches when whispers turned into headlines about money being funneled back into Trump family businesses. Oops, critics pounced, waving red flags about ethics and transparency, and suddenly Eric's do-gooder halo looked more like a question mark. It's the kind of scandal that makes you Winstead Donald Sr.'s mix business with everything. Playbook rub off a little too much. The fallout stung, casting a shadow over Eric's charity cred and raising eyebrows about the blurry lines in Trump world. You can almost hear the tabloids cackling, for looks like the Trumps bogeyed this one. And then there's the political potshot that's pure Trump irony. Eric's been known to take swings at Hunter Biden, jabbing at nepotism like it's a personal crusade. Never mind that he's running a chunk of Dad's company himself. It's the kind of hypocrisy that's so bold, it's almost performance art. And you can't help but wonder if he picked it up from Donald Sr.'s playbook. When in doubt, point fingers louder than they're pointing at you. It's a classic Trump tactic: deflect attack, and keep the crowd cheering, and Eric's mastered it with the finesse of a pro golfer reading the wind. So that's Eric Trump, the golf guru who turned the family name into a hole-in-one, only to trip over a few hazards along the way. He's got Don Jr.'s hustle and Ivanka's Polish, but with a laid-back vibe that's all his own. Until the scandals and stump speeches remind you he's still a Trump through and through. With 3 kids down, we've still got Tiffany and Barron waiting in the wings, ready to add their own quirky strokes to this wild family canvas. What's your next paragraph? Let's keep this Trump tale swinging. It's far from over. The Trump Kids, a wild, wacky ride through the family empire, Part 4. Tiffany's low-key spotlight. Welcome back to our Trump family roller coaster saga, so packed with glitter, grit, and unexpected detours that it's starting to feel like a reality show with a limitless budget. We've already met Don Jr., the skyscraper-slinging rabble-rouser, Ivanka, the poised fashionista-turned-policy wonk, and Eric, the golfing guru with a knack for fairways and flare-ups. Now, it's time to zoom in on Tiffany Trump IV. Kid in the lineup, born in 1993 to Donald and his second wife, Marla Maples. She's the wild card of the bunch, less glitzy than her siblings. A little more laid back, but still undeniably Trump. Think of her as the cool cousin who shows up late to the family reunion with a latte and a sly grin. Ready? Let's dive into Tiffany's quirky, low-key adventure. Tiffany's story starts a bit differently from her siblings. While Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric were raised in the hustle and bustle of New York under Donald's watchful eye, Tiffany grew up on the sunny shores of California with her mom, Marla. It's like she got the West Coast remix of the Trump experience: less skyscraper shadows, more palm trees, and beach vibes. Distance kept her from being as tight with Dad as the others, but that didn't stop her from carving out her own path. She headed to the University of Pennsylvania, Donald Sr.'s alma mater, snagging a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology with a focus on law and society. You can almost picture Donald nudging her toward Penn with a proud, "That's my school, Tifco, make me prouder." Whether it was his idea or hers, it's a nod to a family tradition of Ivy League cred. Well, except for Eric and Barron, but we'll get to them. Not one to rest on her laurels, Tiffany kept climbing the academic ladder, earning a JD from Georgetown Law. Yep, she's a lawyer. Know her, at least lawyer adjacent, which hints at a brainy streak that sets her apart from the family's real estate and golf obsessions. Before the law books took over, though, she dipped her toes into some glitzy gigs. She interned at Vogue, thanks to a little assist from big sis Ivanka, more on that later, and Warby Parker, the hip eyewear company, fashion and tech. It's like Tiffany was sampling a buffet of cool careers, trying to find her flavor. Oh, and let's not forget her brief pop star moment, 2011. She dropped a single called Like a Bird, a bubbly track that fluttered into the world and then, well, flew away. Picture her in a recording booth, auto-tune cranked, with Donald Sr. in the background muttering, "Stick to law, kid music's tougher than real estate." Tiffany might not be a fixture in the Trump organization like her siblings, but she's no stranger to the family's political circus. She popped up during Dad's 2016 and 2020 campaigns, flashing that megawatt Trump smile at the Republican national conventions. Her speeches were short but sweet, a loyal shout-out to the patriarch from the kid who grew up a coast away. It's like she was saying, "I might be the collie girl, but I'm still Team Trump." These days, she's settled into a gig as a researcher, assistant at Georgetown, keeping her nose in books and her profile a little lower than her spotlight-loving siblings. It's a quieter vibe, but you can bet she's still got that Trump spark simmering under the surface. Donald Sr.'s fingerprints are all over Tiffany's journey, even if they're lighter than with the others. That nudge toward Penn, probably his idea war, at least his hearty approval keeping the family's Ivy League streak alive. While she didn't dive into the real estate deep end like Don Jr., Eric, or Ivanka, she's been a steady cheerleader on the campaign trail, bridging the California-New York gap with every wave to the crowd. It's a subtle way of staying connected to Dad, proving that even the far-flung Trump can rally for the cause. And let's talk about that Vogue internship. Ivanka's the one who pulled strings to get Tiffany in the door. A sisterly assist that likely got a thumbs up from Donald. It's classic Trump teamwork. We stick together, kids help each other shine. He might have said over a family dinner or a quick phone call. Since Tiffany was 3,000 miles away, Tiffany's public presence is more Instagram than headlines. But being a Trump means the spotlight finds you whether you're hunting it or not. She's got that effortless glamour think, beachy waves, and designer shades, mixed with a dose of mystery that keeps the media guessing. Her life's quieter than her siblings, sure, but the Trump name keeps her on the radar, whether she's posing with pals or popping up at Dad's events. That Voguing, the law degree, the campaign cameos, they all hint at a young woman figuring out her place in a family that's equal parts dynasty and drama. You can almost hear Donald chuckling. Tiffany's doing her thing, give her time. She surprise us? So that's Tiffany Trump, the breezy, brainy outlier who swapped skyscrapers for surfboards, then law books with a pit stop in pop stardom. She's less in-your-face than Don Jr., less polished than Ivanka, and less golf-obsessed than Eric. But she's still got that Trump tenacity bubbling beneath her chill exterior. With 4 kids down, we've got one left, Barron, the baby of the bunch, ready to round out this wild family tale. What's your next paragraph? Let's keep this Trump train cruising. It's almost time for the grand finale. The Trump Kids, a wild, wacky ride through the family empire, Part 5, Barron's quiet rise. Here we are, folks, at the final stop of our Trump family expressor journey, so packed with pizzazz, politics, and peculiarity that it's practically a blockbuster franchise. We've met Don Jr., the skyscraper-swinging loudmouth Ivanka, the glamorous go-getter, Eric, the golfing golden boy, and Tiffany, the chill collie dreamer. Now, it's time to shine the spotlight on the baby of the bunch, Barron Trump. Born in 2006 to Donald and Melania Trump, he's the mysterious 5th kid, the one who's dodged the limelight like a pro while quietly gearing up for his own chapter. In this wild family tale, think of him as the shy kid at the party who turns out to be secretly plotting world domination or at least a killer business pitch, ready for the grand finale. Let's roll with Barron's low-key, high-potential adventure. Barron Trump's early years were like a masterclass in staying under the radar, while his siblings were out there building towers, strutting runways, or swinging golf clubs. Barron was chilling in the background, probably perfecting his poker face. Born into the glitzy chaos of Trump world, he's been the least public of the bunch, thanks to Mom and Dad Donald and Melania keeping him out of the spotlight like he's a rare collectible they didn't want scratched. Picture little Barron growing up in Trump Tower or Mar-a-Lago, maybe kicking a soccer ball around while the paparazzi chased his siblings instead. It's a deliberate move. You can bet Donald likely growled, "Leave the kid alone," while Melania nodded, "He deserves a normal life." Well, as normal as a Trump can get. Fast forward to today, and Barron's stepping out of the shadows sort of. He's enrolled at NYU's Stern School of Business, diving into the world of commerce with the kind of focus that suggests he's got the family's deal-making DNA. Picking business school isn't exactly a shock after all. The Trumps practically bleed real estate and revenue. But there's a twist. Donald Sr.'s been bragging about Barron's tech savvy, dropping hints that the kid's a wizard with gadgets and gizmos. He's got a gift, Dad's proclaimed, probably picturing Barron as the next tech titan rather than just another skyscraper slinger. And get this. Word on the street, or at least in the rumor mill, is that Barron and 2 buddies launched a luxury real estate outfit called Trump, Fulcher, and Roxborough Capital Inc. It's unconfirmed, but if true, it's classic Trump Barron. barely out of high school, and he's already slapping the family name on something swanky. You can almost hear Donald chuckling. That's my boy, start small, think tall. Barron's not just a business brain, though he's dipping his toes into the political pool too. In 2024, he stepped up as an advisor for Dad's latest campaign, zeroing in on young voters with a podcast strategy that's got the Gen Z crowd buzzing. Picture him in a slick studio, headphones on, chatting up influencers while Donald beams from the sidelines, see, gets the kids. It's a far cry from his silent days, and it's earned him some big props to head of the American Republican Students Union even dubbed him the future of the conservative movement. High praise for a guy who's spent most of his life dodging cameras. But it's clear Barron's got that Trump knack for grabbing attention when he wants to. So where does Donald fit into all this? He's been Barron's biggest cheerleader and gatekeeper. Keeping him out of the public eye early on was a team effort with Melania, a protective shield to let the kid grow up without the world dissecting his every move. But as Barron's hit adulthood, Dad's loosened the reins, letting him shine at campaign rallies and political gigs. It's like Donald saying, "All right, kid, you're ready for the stage, but don't trip over the mic." Barron's business school stint and tech obsession show he's forging his own path. But the real estate rumors hint he might not stray too far from the family tree. Donald's cool with that flexibility, like the full-on empire building he pushed on Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. He's giving Barron room to tinker with tech or whatever else catches his eye. Still, that conservative future buzz, you can bet Donald's been whispering his playbook in Barron's ear. Passing down the art of the D-land, the art of the rally. Barron's not just a business brain, though he's dipping his toes into the political pool too. In 2024, he stepped up as an advisor for Dad's latest campaign, zeroing in on young voters with a podcast strategy. That's got the Gen Z crowd buzzing. Picture him in a slick studio, headphones on, chatting up influencers while Donald beams from the sidelines, see, the kids. It's a far cry from his silent days, and it's earned him some big props. The head of the American Republican Students Union even dubbed him the future of the conservative movement. High praise for a guy who spent most of his life dodging cameras. But it's clear Barron's got that Trump knack for grabbing attention when he wants to. So where does Donald fit into all this? He's been Barron's biggest cheerleader, gatekeeper. Keeping him out of the public eye early on was a team effort with Melania, a protective shield to let the kid grow up without the world dissecting his every move. But as Barron's hit adulthood, Dad's loosened the reins, letting him shine at campaign rallies and political gigs. It's like Donald saying, "All right, kid, you're ready for the stage, but don't trip over the mic." Barron's business school stint and tech obsession show he's forging his own path, but the real estate rumors hint he might not stray too far from the family tree. Donald's cool with that flexibility, and like the full-on empire building he pushed on Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. He's giving Barron room to tinker with tech or whatever else catches his eye. Still, that conservative future buzz, you can bet Donald's been whispering his playbook in Barron's ear. Passing down the art of the D-land, the art of the rally, Barron's the quiet storm of the Trump kid stall. Seriously, he's like 6'7", reserved, and radiating potential. He's not storming boardrooms like Don Jr., dazzling runways like Ivanka, greening fairways like Eric, or vibing in Cali like Tiffany. Instead, he's the wild card, blending brains, tech flair, and a dash of political promise into a cocktail that's still shaking, not stirred. The media's intrigued, the conservatives are hopeful. And Donald's probably grinning ear to ear, thinking, he's my ace in the hole, watch this kid go. And there you have it, the full Trump family lineup, from Don Jr.'s bombast to Barron's stealthy ascent, 5 kids, 1 wild empire, and a dad who shaped them all in his larger-than-life image. What a ride, right? If you've got more to throw my way, I'm game otherwise. This saga is ready to take a bow. What's next? Well, folks, we've reached the end of this wild Trump family rollercoaster, and what a ride it's been. From the towering ambitions of Donald Trump's 5 kids to the larger-than-life shadow of the man himself, this story's got it all: glitz, grit, and a few head-scratching moments. Let's take a beat to unpack it. These kids, Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, and Barron, haven't just sat back and sipped lemonade in the Trump empire's golden glow. Nope, They've rolled up their sleeves and made waves across business, politics, media, law, and beyond, each with a flair that's uniquely theirs. But let's not kid ourselves, Donald. Trump's been the puppet master, the hype man, and the architect of this whole circus, pulling strings and opening doors, like only he can. Think about it. Don Jr. and Eric are the dynamic duo keeping the Trump organization humming, building skyscrapers and golf courses like they're playing a real-life game of Monopoly, except with way more zeros in the bank. They've also jumped headfirst into the political deep end, shouting dad's praises from every stage they can find. Ivanka, she's the golden girl who spun her own fashion empire, strutted into the White House as an advisor, and swapped runway dreams for policy papers, all with a polish that screams Trump with a twist. Then there's Tiffany, the West Coast vibe master, diving into law and research with a quiet determination that sets her apart from the family's flashier antics. And Barron, the baby of the bunch, is just getting started, mixing business school smarts with a tech obsession, and a sneaky political cameo that's got folks whispering about his future. Diversity? Check. Ambition? Double check. Donald's influence is the glue holding this story together. He handed Don Jr. and Eric the keys to his real estate kingdom, practically dared Ivanka to shine in business and politics, nudged Tiffany toward Penn, his old stomping grounds, and gave Barron the space to grow up semi-normal before unleashing him on the world. He's been the coach, barking plays from the sidelines, build it bigger, speak louder, win at all costs. And you can see his DNA in every move they make. He's shaped their careers, from the Trump organization's corner offices to the campaign trail's bright lights, and even tossed them into the media blender, turning them into household names whether they liked it or not. Heck, he might have even whispered a few life lessons over steak dinners. Never back down, always stand out, and if someone's watching, make it a show. But here's where it gets juicy. These kids aren't just carbon copies of their dad. Don Jr.'s got that fiery edge, ready to wrestle a debate or a deal into submission. Ivanka's the smooth operator, blending elegance with elbow grease. Eric's the laid-back king of the greens, turning golf into gold. Tiffany's the thinker, trading Trump Tower for textbooks. And Barron, he's the enigma, quietly plotting his next move, tech titan, real estate rookie, or conservative crusader. They've taken Donald's playbook and scribbled their own notes in the margins, proving they've got personalities as big as his. Even if they don't always yell as loud, of course, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. The Trump name comes with baggage nepotism, grumbles, conflict of interest headlines, and a few scandals that have made folks raise an eyebrow or two. Did Ivanka's fashion line blur some White House lines? Did Eric's charity stumble over its own good intentions? Has Don Jr.'s political megaphone ruffled too many feathers? Sure, there's been messiness. Critics love to point fingers, and the family's never been shy about firing back. But love them or loathe them, you can't. Deny the Trump kids have clawed their way into the spotlight, turning Donald's legacy into a launch pad for their own wild rides. They're players on America's stage, some louder, some quieter, but all undeniably shaped by the man who taught them to dream big and fight bigger. So, what's the takeaway? Is it Donald's magic touch that propelled them to these heights? Or did they climb despite the chaos he stirs up? Maybe it's a bit of both, a cocktail of opportunity, grit, and that unmistakable Trump swagger. We'd love to hear your take. Drop it in the comments below. Did this tale teach you some new English tricks? Did it make you laugh, gasp, or just shake your head? If it did, smash that like button to let us know we nailed it. Share this epic saga with your friends who love a good story or just need a vocab boost, and hit subscribe to Story Driven English. Tap that bell icon so you're first in line for our next crazy adventure. What wild tale should we tackle next? Tell us below. We're ready to roll. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Stay curious, keep learning, and see you soon. And there you have it, folks, the whirlwind tale of the Trump kids. From Don Jr.'s skyscraper showdowns, to Ivanka's fashion to White House globe, Eric's golfing glory, Tiffany's chill collie vibes, and Barron's quiet rise as the tech-savvy wildcard, this family's story is a masterclass in ambition, chaos, and pure Trump flair. We hope you've loved this ride as much as we've loved telling it, and hey, your English just got a little sharper too, right? If you enjoyed this wild saga, smash that like button to let us know. Share this video with your friends who need a laugh and a lesson. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Tap that bell icon so you never miss a story on Story Driven English. What crazy tale should we tackle next? Drop your ideas in the comments below. We're all ears. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next epic adventure.